Nebraska just wrapped up their first official visiting weekend of the summer, and man, oh man, it was absolutely crazy. Over the past couple hours, I've learned some exclusive nuggets on everything that happened. What's going on with CJ Brana? How did his trip to Lincoln go? Is he still flipping to Florida? Not one, but two players who I expect to commit very, very soon. One of those being an elite four-star flip edge rusher, another one being a four-star offensive lineman. What's going on with five-star Kelvin OBOT? What's going on with four-star running back Brian Bonner? An exclusive update around a five-star tight end, a four-star linebacker, and a couple other inside scoops that I want to share with you. So really quick, this is a loaded update. Make sure to watch the entire thing because it gets crazy. Hit that like button if you're fired up. And also, we're getting so close to 12,000 subscribers. So hey, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you enjoy daily content going over your favorite team, it's a no-brainer. Please help us at 12,000. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it. Recapping everything that's happened for Nebraska over their massive official visiting weekend. And I want to get things started with arguably the biggest storyline going into Friday for the Huskers, an inside scoop on whether or not Nebraska will retain the commitment of elite four-star defensive back CJ Brana. Now for context, Florida State, Penn State, and a couple other big-time schools have been trying to flip him away for months now. He visited Gainesville last weekend. Florida, they had over 10 elite four-star and five-star prospects on campus, and they treated CJ Brana like he was the big fish. They wanted him more than anybody else on campus. Billy Napier spent so much time with him on Saturday, building up that relationship with him and his family. The NIL is good. The playing time is good. Florida, they're willing to do whatever it takes, and really, they're the only team in Nebraska's way right now, but between the Huskers and potentially signing him. I'm not really worried about Florida State. I'm not really worried about Penn State. It's really Nebraska or Florida. So the Huskers going into this recruiting weekend, they knew that it was of their biggest priority to treat him like he was the number one guy on campus, to roll out the red carpet, to once again build that relationship with him and his family. And I can firmly tell you, from all the things I've heard, from all the inside scoops, the expectation is that in the coming days, CJ Brana will completely shut down his recruitment. He is 100% locked in with Nebraska. There's some rumors that he's not even going to visit Penn State or Florida State, that he's going to completely sign the dotted line. And of course, he will sign in December with the Big Red. So a couple things that worked in Nebraska's favor here. Matt Rhule knew it was very important to spend most of the weekend with him, building up that relationship. Addison Williams built up that relationship once again. They discussed NIL. They discussed playing time. They discussed him on and off the field, getting a great degree, that the coaching staff's going to care for him past the point where he's done playing football. So CJ Brana, Nebraska believed in him from the very beginning. Florida didn't. Florida State didn't. They didn't offer him until late. Nebraska did. Nebraska's believed in this guy, and that's why he has that great relationship with them. And that's why that bond is so hard to break. So CJ Brana, he genuinely believes that this is his home away from home. He believes that he's going to thrive here and get on the field immediately here. And for that reason, it's expected he's going to completely shut things down. I expect an announcement today, tomorrow, later this week. We'll see if he ends up visiting Penn State or Florida State. I wouldn't be surprised any which way. I wouldn't blame if he ends up visiting. I mean, it's a free trip. Why not? But I think when it's all said and done, he's going to lock things down with Nebraska. And he's going to sign in December. And Nebraska, they just got a game-changer defensive back. Then, let's get to two players who I expect to commit very, very soon. Let's get things started with the first name. Four-star edge rusher coming out of Miami, Florida, Syracuse commit, Cameron Wilson. Now, this is somebody I've told you guys for months now. Don't be surprised when Nebraska flips him, because quietly behind the scenes, they've been putting in a lot of work. And the main thing that really went well for Cameron Wilson this weekend is his relationship with Philip Simpson, the Florida guru on Nebraska's coaching staff. Philip Simpson has been the reason Nebraska landed guys like Jacory, Barney, Larry Tarver, Amari Sanders, Vincent Shavers, among many others. That's because of him. Not really because of Matt Rhule, not because of some of our coordinators. It's because of Philip Simpson and his Florida connection. It also should be noted, while he's a Florida guru, he also now coaches outside linebackers for the Huskers. Well, guess who's from Florida, and guess who's an outside linebacker? None other than Cameron Wilson. Man, he fell in love with Nebraska this weekend. He genuinely believed that it's going to be his home. I expect a commitment potentially today, potentially tomorrow. He's going to probably visit Florida State, maybe Syracuse still, maybe even USF, but he might even shut things down. He's in love with Nebraska, and that's because of that great relationship factor with Phil Simpson and some of the Miami boys. He feels like Nebraska's the place for him. man, very, very excited about Cameron Wilson. We'll go over the full analysis, when and if he commits. Obviously, 6'5" edge rusher, long arms, very freak speed. We'll go over it when the announcement is made, but I'm expecting something to happen this week. We will see, but feeling very, very good about Mr. Cameron Wilson. And then it also should be noted, a bunch of crystal balls rolled in for him from Steve Wiltfong, Sean Callahan. So just know the insiders feeling good about this as well. Then another player who a bunch of crystal balls rolled in for yesterday night, 4-star offensive lineman, according to some recruiting sites. This is Hayden Ainsworth coming out of Mississippi. Now, he was visiting Nebraska for the first time this weekend, and he was so impressed. He built up a great relationship with Donovan Raiola, with some of the other players who were on official visits. He had a great relationship with Tyler Knack, who's a current Husker offensive lineman. Now, it should be noted, while all of the crystal balls rolled in for this guy, he's still likely going to visit Liberty, North Carolina, Ole Miss. And there's a part of me that, while the crystal balls rolled in, I feel good about that, I'm still holding off a little bit, because sometimes crystal balls will roll in right after an official visit because all of the good energy, and they really won't mean stuff. We have to wait a little bit. We have to wait maybe a week or two and see if that crystal ball still holds up. So Cameron Wilson, somebody with everything that I've heard, I think things are going to happen quick here. With a guy like Hayden Ainsworth, I think he's still going to take these official visits, and I think things aren't going to happen as quickly. So while though Nebraska might be in a good spot for him, we'll probably have to wait maybe a month, and we will see there, but he's probably still going to visit these other schools. But the Huskers in a very good place for a very talented pass protector at the offensive tackle spot, can also play offensive guard. And a couple other notes. Let's get to arguably the biggest name on campus, not named CJ Brana. 5-star offensive lineman, according to On3, Kelvin OBOT down in Nebraska, Michigan, Oregon, and Utah. Now, this is a big recruiting weekend for Nebraska to get him. They basically had to roll out the red carpet, have an A++ grade, have the right NIL money, have the right playing time factor money, build up that relationship once again. And from everything I've heard, Kelvin OBOT had a very good visit. It was a very, very good visit. Him and all the other offensive linemen who took visits, they went to the state capitol, they hung out together, they built up that relationship. They had dinner together. I believe some of them played golf. So it was a crazy weekend. They had a pool party as well. There was just so many activities going on in Lincoln. It was hard not to have fun. So Kelvin OBOT, he had a really, really good time. I'm just still worried about teams like Oregon, still worried about teams like Michigan. The fact that those two get the last visits, that's concerning. So Nebraska, I believe they had an A+ visit. Was it A++? Was it A+++? I don't know. And it's really going to be hard for Nebraska to potentially still beat out teams like Oregon and Michigan with their money factor, with their success as of recently. So what I'm hoping for when it comes to Kelvin OBOT is the money's good. The playing time is important to him. And I also just hope that he kind of takes a little bit of time to decide this. Maybe not commit in July, maybe commit in September, maybe commit in October. And in that case, Nebraska can potentially get him on another visit, potentially even for that Michigan game, sway his opinion if we win that one, and then land Kelvin OBOT. So while it was a good weekend for him, he's a very shy guy. He doesn't do many interviews. It looked, from all intents and purposes, it was good. It's going to be tough still to beat out Michigan, Oregon. I'm not holding my breath on this one just yet. Hopefully he can draw this one out a little bit longer. In that case, I like our odds a lot more. Then Ryan Miret coming out of Miami, a guy who's committing likely by the end of the month. Man, he had a great visit for Nebraska. Now, again, he's visiting, I believe, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and Miami. He's committing on June 26th. He met with the coaching staff. He met with our wrestling head coach as well. There's some murmurs. I don't think he's going to wrestle for Nebraska, but he's a big wrestler for his high school. It also should be noted he goes to the same high school as Cameron Wilson, who's expected to flip to the Huskers. So Ryan Miret, a lot of good relationship with the coaching staff, with some of these current players with Nebraska as well. He loves it here, man. He loves it. Now, there is some concern around Miami. Miami is that school that's kind of in our way still. But Nebraska, they treat him like a priority. That's very important to him. He's the number one center that they're going after. Miami, that's probably not the case with them. They've already took multiple offensive linemen. So if he wants to go somewhere where he's a priority, Nebraska's a no-brainer. But this is someone who's a very talented center. We'll see. He's committing on June 26th. But again, Nebraska does not get his final visit, which is a little bit concerning. So Miami, they'll get the final word here. They'll get the final say. Not hold my breath here either, but Nebraska had a very good visit, and he loved it here. So we will see what happens there. Luke Sorensen also had a good visit. Again, he's pretty much down in Nebraska, Ole Miss, Penn State. He's committing on June 20th, so basically in about 10 days. Still think Penn State's the favorite here. They get the final word as well, but he had a good time. Had a good photo shoot I saw. I mean, he was pumped up. He likes the Midwest. That's something interesting. He's from LA, but he really likes the Midwest. Don't hear that very often. So Luke Sorensen, we're in a good place. Really didn't hear anything more than that. Rex Waterman, I expected Nebraska wants him. He's going to commit soon. I think it's going to happen next week, this week. We'll see. But I believe he might be taking one more official visit. Let's check. Yeah, he's going to Duke next weekend. He's already visited UCLA. He's already visited Boise State. I think it's really Nebraska or UCLA. I think he's going to commit to Nebraska. They've been going after him for a very, very long time. They believe he's a hidden gem. We'll see, but they like Rex Waterman a lot. Kasen Thomas is somebody who won an official visit. I don't think Nebraska's going to land him. I mean, he had a fine visit, but Iowa or Iowa State, those are the two schools there. Nebraska, pretty much, I don't expect Nebraska to get Kasen Thomas. And then last but not least, Brian Bonner. I haven't heard really anything about this Brian Bonner one. I've been scraping for nuggets, really have not heard anything. He's kind of a quiet kid as well. I'm sure it went well with Brian Bonner. I'm sure it did. I'm just not holding my breath here. I think, again, I'm looking out for UCLA. I'm looking out for Washington. We'll see. Again, if I hear something, I'll let you know. But I literally heard nothing about this Brian Bonner one. He took no interviews. But I think that relationship with him and EJ Barthel is really, really good. So I'm not really too freaking out there. And besides, just Evan Walker's visiting. But we'll see. Again, not to say we're not going to land him. Like, we very well could land him. I just haven't heard anything. So I'm not going to share with you something that I don't know. So we'll see if we hear any nuggets from his visit. Then a couple other things I want to share with you. Larry Miles, who's visited Nebraska early last week, he has set an official visit for June 20th, so he'll be back in town. He's committing on July 1st, so pretty much going to be down in Nebraska, Pitt, and Kentucky at that point in time. Just watch out for this name, 6-foot-tall slot receiver, is a 4-star according to Rivals, 8th best slot receiver in America, so he'll be visiting that June 20th weekend. Another guy who's visiting that June 20th weekend was just announced, Polynesian Pipeline, coming out of Hawaii, Kamoi Hui White. He was the former teammate of President Tomoa there at St. Louis High School out of Honolulu. Very talented prospect. I've been reporting on the channel for months now that Nebraska's interested here, and they get him on a visit, so watch out for that name. Then Jordan Campbell, it was announced yesterday that Jordan Campbell is completely shut down his recruitment. He visited Miami this weekend. I don't know what they did. Maybe they bumped up his NIL. I don't know. But he just decided that he's going to be shutting everything down. He's not going to visit Nebraska anymore. That sucks. There's no other way to put it. Like, I really felt good about this one for a long time for Nebraska, but I think he just wanted to stay home, and it's hard to turn down Miami, especially when you're from Miami. Like, I don't blame him. I just don't know what happened during the visit. I wish he was going to take it official to Nebraska, but that's just not going to happen. It is what it is. We move on to the next. Last but not least, Ahmad Hudson. I talked to Ahmad Hudson a little bit after his visit to Nebraska on Friday. Man, he loves it here in Lincoln. Should be noted, he wants to play football and basketball at his next school. He met with Fred Hoiberg on Saturday, and the basketball team has officially offered him a scholarship. So pretty much right now, the top three for him as it stands, LSU, Nebraska, Texas A&M, in that order. He wants to, again, those are the only three schools who are Power 4 and have offered him in both sports. So Ahmad Hudson, 5-star tight end who lit it up. We need him here. We'll do whatever it takes. Let's get the NIL. Let's get the playing time. I don't care. Do whatever it takes. Get Ahmad Hudson because he's a game changer and he can be a lethal duo with Trey Taylor. All right, guys, that's a recap over everything that happened during Nebraska's official visit. I expect some big-time announcements this week, and then we have another big-time official visiting weekend next Saturday. So, again, it's commitment season, man. A lot of news, a lot of stuff going on. It's a great time of year. Great time of year. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything. Hit that like button and subscribe if you made this far on the video. And as always, folks, go grab, go Miret roll, and I'll see you in the next one.